Okay, let's start. Hello.
Hello, mister. Hello, sir.
3 months since we met last time.
Already, no, more.
Yeah, 3 months, not more.
Oh.
Okay, let's head to the point. Who are you? How can you identify yourself? And what is making you so special? Because you are so special.
Special, I don't know. But I suppose I can say my life is a bit special, and the abilities I have developed as well. Like, I'm a kind of medium, so I actually wrote a book, and we're gonna talk about this book during this interview. So I'm Guillaume. I'm from France.
You were born and raised in France.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in France, and
Okay.
now I'm traveling the world.
Now you are traveling around the world. Yeah. Wow, that is very interesting. Okay. You told me you are a medium and you wrote a book.
Yeah.
Your book and you as a medium. About what exactly?
Okay. I'm gonna try to make a resume of it because there is a lot of.
I know. I'm speaking on behalf of someone who doesn't know anything about you. So we are clarifying everything for the new followers.
Wonderful. So the book is about, basically the subject of the book is about self-love. How self-love is important in order to create a life where we are aligned, where we are aware of ourselves, of actually this life, this body life, I would say, but not in the sense we usually hear it, more like as a magnificent creation. In the book, I can't say they describe it, but they like talk about human beings, but from the perspective of God almost, of pure love. Like they often say, you human beings, you are a creation of love, and you should be aware of it because you are an extension of the source of love.
Yeah, so, I agree with that.
So in order to honor your bond with the source of love, you should honor your abilities, what you want to do, what you want to share, what makes you special, what makes you unique. You should be aware of it, and you should develop it, and you should actually live a happy life. And this is maybe one of the most powerful message of the book. Like, they don't say you should do something because this is the way. They say you should know yourself and act according to your values and creating a beautiful life for yourself. So you will see that everything is connected, what you will bring to yourself, you will bring it to the world. And then the world will be a very nice place, a very beautiful place.
Yeah. This is a very good introduction for your book. But I need to ask you, when did you start feeling your interest in these matters?
You mean when I got interested by spirituality?
Yes. At which age of your life, and what was what were the circumstances?
Okay. Okay. So I was 13, I think. 13, 14 years old.
13.
13, yeah.
That was when you
young.
started feeling feeling the interest of spirituality.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I got this. How can I say that? I wanted to put a sense on this life. I wanted to put a sense on this world because, from my eyes, from my perspective, everything I could say
Yeah.
was chaos. Like, I was wondering why humans are so mean to each other. Why the world, why the societies are so chaotic? Why we don't take care of ourselves, basically. And
You wanted to make sense of the random world we are living in.
yeah, actually, yeah, of the world and of this body, these emotions, this mind. I wanted to understand how everything works and how everything is actually connected. I wanted to put a sense on all of this, and I was depressed, at that age because of that, because I was feeling overwhelmed by all of this. It was really overwhelming for me to have all these emotions and all these unresolved questions. And my dad was seeing that, so he tried a few ways to make me better. And the final thing,
Your dad helped. Your dad helped you.
Yeah.
Good.
So the final thing he did was to introduce me to a shaman from North America.
That is how your journey started, actually.
Yeah,
By the shaman.
It was the big jump. Let's say the first big jump.
Yeah. The first step.
Yeah, the first big jump. Yeah.
Yeah. So how was what did you learn exactly from the shaman?
Oh, so when I was 14, it was a week of workshop. It was a week workshop about about Native American wisdom. And this workshop, it's been 20 years, so I don't remember everything.
They are a very interesting people.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
But what I felt, I can say what I felt because this I remember very well. I felt like listened for the first time in my life, like really listened, not on the surface, but deeply. And this was a trigger to change everything, because I could finally relax inside. I could finally feeling that I was welcomed.
You started to feel you are on the right way, the way you are seeking.
I wasn't conscious of this, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, tell me about your book. What were the circumstances when you started? Why did you feel like you were, wanted to write a book?
Well, as I said, no, I didn't say it actually. So I followed this shaman for 7 years. So I met the first time I met her while I was 14, and then I met her again at 18 years old, and I followed her for 7 years, so until 25. So I learned a lot during this period, and I was reading a lot as well about all of this subject. Then I started, at 25 years old, I started to channel, like to receive messages from the spiritual guides, the spiritual masters, all the beings
Wow.
we cannot see actually.
Wow. So you are saying that the words we are reading in your book, they are not your own words.
No.
Actually, they came to you from other beings or identities. Are you trying to say that?
I'm not trying to say that, I say that.
You have already said that. Well, when you are telling that to people or your followers, how do they react to that?
How do they react? I don't know, honestly. But from, I've been giving healing sessions and channeling sessions for 10 years now, and I met all kind of people, like the skeptical, the highly spiritual, and everything in the middle.
So you are saying that when maybe some people act skeptical when they hear what you are saying, but when they see your abilities in healing, they start to, thinking that maybe, why not?
I suppose.
I suppose. Right?
I'm not in their mind, but I suppose.
Because let me tell you something. In our conversation now, I act like I don't know anything about you because I want for the new followers to know better about you.
Of course.
But when I remember that day when we met Luxor, and you told me about your book. You told me that exactly that you have received your book from another identities. To be specific, the inhabitants of Orion Belt, Orion Galaxy, and I noticed something very interesting that you didn't. It was the second time we met, and we didn't know so much about each other's. But you didn't feel like shy, or you didn't feel like that I would mock you or laugh about you. You were very trustful. I saw in your eyes that you are honest. You believe what you are saying, and I didn't have any difficulty in believing you.
Well, a thing I learned is, actually I learned it from the book as well. When we talk from our experience, we talk from our truth. But when we talk from the mind and from the ideas, we talk from what? So,
yes.
If you want to convince someone, and it wasn't my purpose when I talked to you, but if you want to convince someone, you have to talk from your experience. Of course, if you want to be honest and trustful.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly what I have seen in your eyes when you were speaking about this matter. You were not trying to convince me or anything. You were telling me exactly as if it really happened to you. Yeah.
Because it did.
Yes, and we started to speak about this like it is a very ordinary thing. Like it could happen to anyone. By the way, do you know other people in the world who can have these abilities like you have,
Yeah, many people.
or they could have that connection to the other beings?
Yeah, many people. Yeah.
You already know people like that.
Yeah. I know many people like this. So I would say not everybody is meant to develop these abilities, and it shouldn't be a purpose, you know. And yeah, I'm gonna be very clear on this. It shouldn't be a purpose because you actually open functions of your body. And if you don't have the maturity, you will become crazy.
Okay, let's head now to your book. You have already sent me the first chapter? Okay. Do you want to read this? Me to read?
Please read it, I will comment.
Okay. Okay, I'm starting now. Aeon? What is Aeon?
Aeon is
E-O-N.
This is the name of the being we're speaking.
The name of the being who had a connection with you.
Yeah.
Who sent you the words of this book?
Yeah. Not of the entire book, but of this chapter.
So you are saying that some parts of the book are actually from the extraterrestrial beings, and some parts are written by you?
Actually, there is just the introduction which is from me, because all the rest is from extraterrestrial beings.
Okay.
Yeah.
The creator of thoughts. Dear brothers and sisters, the distance that separates us is so infinitesimal. From us to you, there is truly just a moment, a fraction of a second, in which our hearts meld into a space of grace, eternity, and love. They are very comfortable words.
In this sentence, there is already a very deep message. Like they say that the separation we think about, it's only here and doesn't really exist. It means what we eyes can see, what we can hear, and what we can sense is not everything. And there is actually,
I so much agree with that.
There is actually a reality we cannot. Not everybody can feel. Some people can. But
I have told you in our conversation when we started to arrange for this meeting that I have some views from quantum mechanics and physics. And what I'm gonna tell, I will let you say everything you want to say. But when you finish, I will tell you a lot of things related to what you are saying. So what you are saying in this book and your ideas, they are not illusions. They are not hopes, but they are very related to the science.
Wonderful.
And you will be shocked with the things I'm gonna tell you.
I'm looking forward to hearing this.
Okay, let's continue. You might perceive us as different from you, but we assure you we are similar in our aspirations. Like you, we remain faithful to our values, and in your image, we have many challenges to overcome in our lives. Therefore, we understand you far better than you could imagine. In this part, I feel a sense of assurance.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They are basically in this small part. They are basically creating a link from the heart to their heart.
Yeah. Individually and collectively, you possess a great ability to create mental images to which you give faithful and trust, what we shall refer to as illusions. Your illusions. And this part, I feel the sense of um, the choke. They are trying to choke you. They are trying to, we are very used to the world we are living in. So they are trying to choke you. They are telling you that this is not what we think is real. It is not very real as we understand.
Yeah.
We often hear you think, if I had known, I would have acted differently. I would have fundamentally been someone I was not at that time. As long as you see yourselves as powerless in in the face of what happens to you, believing that you have no influence on the course of events and that they will inevitably return, then you succumb to the greatest of illusions. You become at the mercy of the myriad ideas, thoughts, emotions, and images of all kinds that pass through you, whether they originate from within yourselves or from others.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, can you see? They started from your world is actually your inner world, your perceptions are illusions, and they are actually led by the emotions, the mind, and the circumstances. So it means everybody's reality is different. So the truth is not there.
We understand why the reality in which you operate seems absolute to you. We also understand why you wanted to persist and become a model, going so far as to mock and annihilate your fellow beings who disagree with your perspective. Be well aware that placing something on a pedestal, whether it be an idea or a concrete person, will undoubtedly lead you to turn it into an idol, a goal that will ultimately lead you astray and cause you to lose sight of the common good. You will become like a hamster endlessly running in its wheel, convinced by its own reasoning that this goal, this perspective, is the only valid one as you roll along in this dynamic. You will believe that it works. You will believe that it works this way for everyone and that everyone must live and act according to this model that obsesses you. And this is a very terrible problem.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
What folly, my friends? you become nothing less than a mentally ill person, repeatedly hitting their head, trying to convince themselves that they are not crazy. Why don't you say this to suggest that we don't we don't say this to suggest that you are wrong and we are right? For that would be an attempt to convince you that our perspective is better, which is not and will never be our goal. That it does make sense. Love, dear brothers and sisters, is this boundless, infinite, and ever renewing force that will allow you to see clearly. Love will always lead you to dissolve into that ocean of the unknown that your soul already knows, similar to how your neurons interconnect to create the image you have of yourselves. You will learn to dissolve into this ocean of love to recognize the true essence of your being. This, in truth, is the challenge of humanity. Also, learn that the more you fight yourselves, consider your thoughts as parasites. The more you will see that other ways of controlling and defending against yourselves and others will come to imprison, limit you. You will exchange one prison for another, one mindset for another, indefinitely, as you fail to recognize that it is you in your gender who are the creator of this imagery, of these illusions. Thus, if you consider yourselves as beings less than creators of pure love, inevitably you will seek to control and defend your opinions, to think and convince that you are right, seeking to divide the world into what is in line and what is not, according to a vision and feeling that in the end is very subjective. Recognize that spark of life within you. Observe how nature organizes itself, forms and reforms itself to create patterns and structures it alone knows. See how, like nature, everything diversifies within you too, like a tree extending its branches and roots infinitely, both in the visible planet that you can touch and perceive, and in the invisible infinite. Observe how everything expands. Then you will understand the nature of life within you, the meaning of existence, of your existence. Well, they are they are heading to the topic. They are trying to answer the questions every single one in this world are asking themselves.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
From this, you will naturally lead each other to live with a sense of openness, self love, and an expanded vision of life, rather than seeking to control, restrict, and persuade others to adhere to your viewpoints. Allow me to share a popular story that we tell our young children. Two friends were bound by an unwavering friendship, so strong that even an earthquake could not shake it. Yet every spring, as nature awakened, a sort of chasm developed between them, causing increasing discomfort year after year. At the end of their respective lives, at the end of their respective lives, they looked at each other and whispered, "Do you feel it too? This gap, this difference of opinion between us?" "Yes, my friend, my beloved brother. I have felt it too. I have felt it for a long time now. But in the fear of irreparable breaking something between us, I didn't know how to name it or talk about it." His friend looked intensely at him and replied, I know what you mean. I also imagined and feel this suffering you speak of. Thus, the unspoken gradually and subtly created the distance between the two, even though their common intention was to avoid it. The moral of this story, dear friends, is that sometimes when we think we are doing the right thing, when we believe we are acting to preserve in truth, breaking the ice and expressing our feelings could very well be what saves us, what makes us grow both individually and collectively. These situations ultimately become poison that eventually consumes us from within and causes everything to decay, instead of being both a balm and a springboard for our greater good. As I mentioned, nature recreates itself at every moment, maintaining a sense of separation, of illusion, and desiring to uphold smooth appearances ultimately contribute. Nothing more, nothing less. To separating you from yourselves. And this is truly the worst thing you can subject yourselves to. For you are by nature beings constantly recreating yourselves. Well, I need you to comment about that. I feel like I feel like my head is bounced by something very good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very well. Yeah. And it was interesting to listen to you because I can relate what I felt with you and how I was feeling when I wrote it, like 4 years ago now. Yeah. And my consciousness is completely different now, and my comprehension is very clear, very clear. Well, I'm still learning, but it's much more clear than before. It's like it totally makes sense for me now. But 4 years ago, I was like trying to guess what they wanted to say, which is very interesting and which is related to what you just said. Like you feel your head is
bounced.
Yeah, because this is what this book does actually.
Yes, I feel like someone is hitting me, but in a very good and nice way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And it's not just about words; it's an energy. When I was channeling, I was receiving not just the words but the energy as well.
I am receiving this energy right now.
Exactly. And this energy from this constellation, the energy of Orion, is very masculine, very strong. It's like in this part of the galaxy, okay, let's talk about the cosmos a little bit. In this part of the galaxy, we have Sirius, Orion, and many others. But Orion is a constellation of strengths, of inner strengths. It's like the energy who will bring you out of your habits, of what you think about yourself, to bring you to the world as it really is. So, to the transparent and pure crystal truth about yourself.
Can't you find it very interesting that we both, I mean me and you, we have different different backgrounds. We have different ways. I mean, we have raised up in a very different countries. We have different beliefs. Can't you find it very interesting that we can share that that energy, these feelings? We have different backgrounds, but we agree in many things.
Yeah, and actually, I would like to tell a short sentence from the book. I don't remember in which chapter, but they say, instead of building temples, churches, and things,
Yeah.
to pray a god, to pray something, you should build a church or a temple for yourself, for your own heart, because this is the only thing every single one of you share. You all have the same heart. You all have the same aspiration to bring back to the nature, to the divine nature. And everyone has his own interpretation about that, but in the end, we all go in the same direction.
Yeah. We are not talking about religion right here.
No.
We are talking about humanity.
Yeah.
So we can't find any difficulty in understanding each other.
Yeah.
Speaking of the energies, can you remember that day when we were walking at the temples and the Valley of the Kings? I remember that we were seeking, we are trying to find the spots of energy, and we both could feel them.
It was nice, yeah.
Yeah. Your experience in the Great Pyramid, how could you describe it? Because the Great Pyramid, the Great One, it was built in relation to the Orion Belt. You know that?
Yeah. It's direct.
So how was your experience in the Great Pyramid? What sort of energy did you feel exactly?
Okay. So I've been to Egypt 2 times. The first time we met each other.
Yes, I'm sorry because I cut you what you're saying, but I noticed something about you. You were not very interested in history. When I met you at the second time, you were interested much more in the energies.
Yeah, of course.
Of the temples.
Yeah, because
that is exactly why you came to Egypt for the second time.
Yeah.
You were not learning or seeking to know history and like the ordinary people. Yeah. You came again, and you will come again to experience the fields of energy. Yeah.
And Egypt is probably one of the most amazing places for this on this planet.
Thank you.
I mean, Egypt was a colony of Atlantis.
Yeah.
It was the biggest colony of Atlantis. So what we find in the ancient Egypt are the better remains of Atlantis, of what Atlantis was. So all the pyramids, how it's designed, how it's connected to the stars, even the temples along the Nile. was all of that was an initiatic path to the self originally.
Well, it does make sense to a lot of things.
So you were talking about the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid is actually on this path. It's the crown chakra, which is a connection to God or to the cosmos, or call that as you wish. And it was the final step on this initiatic path. When you were entering in ancient time, when you were entering in the Great Pyramid, you were actually entering to lose your identity and to embrace what you really are as a human god, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after this initiation in the pyramid, you were going in the desert, to the desert. And in the desert, you were discovering yourself.
Yeah.
And then you were coming back to the world after the desert as a new one, a new individual connected to everything. So you were like a human god afterwards.
Yeah.
So what I felt in the pyramid, okay, the first time was more like remembering, reactivating, like on the surface. So the first one was cool. The first one was cool, but I didn't feel so much the first one. But the second one, and the second one is actually interesting because I received information from my guides. We are waiting for you in the Great Pyramid. So I went there maybe 2 or 3 days after this announcement from them. I was going to the pyramid. When I got there, couldn't enter because they were working in the pyramid. They were building something. I don't know. They were doing something. Couldn't enter. So I was like, "Why did you tell me that if I cannot enter?" And I was like, I couldn't understand. But this day or the day after this one, I met my friend, which is a guide around the pyramids, a gatekeeper, and he is very spiritual. And he invited me to his home, and he told me, I have something to show you. I have a pendant to show you. It's connected to the Great Pyramid. It's the energy of the Great Pyramid. I was like, okay, let's try. I was no expectations. I go in the room. He gave me the pendant in my hand, and I swear I was in the Great Pyramid. The feeling I had in his room with the pendant, I was feeling I was inside the pyramid. So I don't know how. I really don't know how. But the feeling was amazing. I was really experiencing something very deep. So I wasn't in the pyramid, but I was connected to the pyramid through the pendant.
Wow.
And what I felt was very personal, but what I can tell is I reconnected to a sense of family, of, half family. So I reconnected to, I feel connected to the world. The separation vanished. So I could feel again this connection to the great family of humanity. And it's still here now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it opened something inside.
Yeah.
So I'd like to add, when you feel called by something from your intuition or from your guides, if you have this ability, when you feel something, you have to go there. You don't know why. You should listen to your call, because
Yeah.
when you want to walk the spiritual, the initiatic path for yourself, it's like you're guided for that.
Yeah.
And it's a path of love, actually, of self-love, because you're following the call, and the call is inside, and the call is very much talking about love, about self-love. It's bringing back you. It's bringing back you to yourself. So it's melting the illusions of the mind, of the society, of the education, of everything we usually relate to build our identity.
Yeah.